Why, hello, welcome to my channel. My name is Sally, and this is Sally Stitches and, my channel, which is about cross stitch and knitting and other crafts I'm interested in, and, life stuff, chaos and joy and patience and how my week's been going. So we're gonna get into a lot of things this week. But if you're new here, I just wanted to say welcome. Thank you for stopping by. If you're a crafter, I would love it if you picked up your cross stitch or some knitting and just kind of pretended that you're having a conversation with me, because that's kind of what I'm doing as I stare at the little green dot that is my phone, because that's where my eyes focus. Because if I stare at the screen, then I'm not talking to you anymore. Can you tell the difference? I can tell the difference. Here you are. So I brought some notes. Today I want to talk about patience, which I think is an important thing to talk about just in general, but I think cross stitchers in general are very, very good at being patient. I know that it's a long process, right? To get the stitches in and then to decide how you want to finish something and then actually finish it, which I am behind on a lot of pieces right now. And then also, where you want to display it. And so I think that patience is something that, people that are drawn to cross stitching or other, crafts already have a lot of. And patience is something that I've needed a lot of because the other thing I wanted to talk about is just kind of picking up pieces after things happen. I've had several projects that have kind of collapsed out from under me because I've made some mistakes. And so I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I'm doing to pick up those pieces. And also, let's talk a little bit about just picking up pieces in general. I don't know about you, but I think it might be the holiday and it might be, just November gray and brown season, but I have been struggling a little bit. First off, I feel like I'm late with this, video. I like to do videos every 2 weeks or so. And so I kind of felt like I wanted to film last week, but last week was just a monster chaos week for me. I had kind of what I would call an extraordinary appointment every day. We had dentist appointments, we had well checks for my kids, I had my annual physical, I had an IEP meeting for my son, Nathan, and then at my annual physical, I got a COVID booster and it knocked me out. And so basically last week was a write-off. But even before that, I have really been struggling this month, because I am just very easily distracted. The last time I filmed was on election day, and I filmed and I talked a lot about joy and optimism. And I'm really glad that I had that conversation with you because people really seem to enjoy it. I kind of hemmed and hawed about, bringing up the election in this video. I've seen some YouTubers do it and kind of express their feelings, and then I've seen others not. I did express some of my feelings right after the election, on my Instagram page. And then I got into an argument with someone, and then I lost some followers, and it just was kind of I don't want to do that again. But I will say that I think it's really important. Jackie from Comfort Stitching says this recently in her YouTube channel. It's really important to have empathy for other people. I think that it's okay to acknowledge that some people are very nervous and scared about what's coming in the next, administration. I personally have a lot of concerns. My son, who is autistic, relies on a lot of special education services, which are administered by the United States Department of Education. And so that's important to me, that we have a functional Department of Education. And then also he receives a lot of private medical care that my husband and I pay for because we can afford a separate medical insurance policy for him that's out of what we have for the rest of our family through my husband's workplace, so that he can get the care that his doctors have recommended he needed. And so to have kind of both of those things up in the air is very uncomfortable, and so please have empathy for me. I think that a lot of the pieces that I'm picking up are just, probably feelings based. I I think that I've got some strategies that are helping me get through that I will share with you. But yeah, I think overall I'm disappointed and just nervous, you know, and I just wanted to kind of put that out there. So there you go. Well, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into, you know, talking about the craft stuff. So thank you again for being here. First off, I finished one thing, and this was something I was very close to finishing last time, but I'll show you right now. This is not a cross stitch piece. This is my crochet project, and it is the Wildrose market bag. This is a pattern by Stephanie Lau of All About Ami, and it is a bunch of little squares that you crochet and then you sew together, and then you make this bag handle. And I'm really happy with it. I like how big it is. I like how sturdy it is. I have taken it shopping. I ended up having to pull it out of my trunk of my car because that's kind of where it lives. This is a cotton yarn, and so it's very durable. It's machine washable. I would probably hand wash it unless it got very, very, very dirty somehow, like, I don't know, something spilled in it. But I just am really, really happy to finally have this done. And I'm looking forward to like the next, you know, big yarn project. So that is something that I can celebrate, that I finished this. I've also really gotten close to finishing a couple other pieces. And here, I've got my cutting board because I don't have a presentation board. Maybe that's something I should ask Santa for, right? But here's the first one. And this is one that I showed you last time that I'm very excited that I finished. This is a pattern by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. It is called Bryson Bentley Badger. Isn't he cute? And this is a design that is exclusively for their upcoming Jingle Ball class. Now, the Jingle Ball is an online event that is hosted by Stephanie of Lindy Stitches. There are 12 designers. They have like some entertainment that they've filmed that everyone can enjoy. There are chat rooms that are open. There's a special shop with patterns that are exclusive. And there are classes that are hosted by a lot of the individual designers. And so this class right here is going to involve actually fully finishing this. And so I'm really glad I got the pre-stitching done for this, and I just think it turned out really great. It is stitched on 28 count fabric by Picture This Plus. The color is called Valor, and it is a crystal fabric, so I don't know if you can see. I'll kind of shake it back and forth, but there are little sparkles woven in, and I just think it's really cute. The back stitching really brings it alive with the sleeve. Part of the kit included this really cute needle minder too. This is made for the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery by Maria from A Needle Runs Through It. These wooden needle minders are my very favorite. I think that they hold the needles the best, and they're lightweight, and so they don't pull on my fabric. So, finished for now. Here's another one that's finished for now, and I'm very, very happy that I finished this one because I had a lot of fun stitching. Kind of started it over the summer, and then I got it all done in kind of like a flurry of activity recently. Ta-da! This is designed by the Artsy Housewife. It is called Coffee and Eggs, and you can see there's a lot of coffee and there's a lot of eggs. My favorite thing about this design was this lady. Gigi of the Artsy Housewife has named her Cheryl, but I think she looks like me. I think we're almost actually matching today. I have a green shirt, but I've got my yellow sweater on, and she's got her kind of yellow-brown sweater. I wear a lot of skirts like this, and so she is right up my alley. And she definitely loves eggs like I love eggs. In fact, I've got to go buy some later today. I have like a minimum egg, like, I don't know, like a metric, I guess, for when I think that we need to buy eggs. I use those clear egg holders in my fridge, and so I can see how many I have. And we go through them so fast that I really, once we get under a dozen eggs, I start thinking, well, it's time to start getting more eggs. So now coffee I don't drink, but my husband does. And so I think this is a really, really, really cute piece. I purchased a frame for this that I have not received yet, and I ended up getting a frame based on a recommendation from Liz of Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch. She recently finished a pattern called Skipjack Sampler, and she went on Etsy and she found a really cool wooden like frame that has like a bead detail, and they come in a lot of different colors. she kindly linked the Etsy shop, and I went over there, and they don't have custom sizes, and so I'm getting one of their standard size frames, but they are willing to put a mat in and do a custom cut. And actually, she wasn't even charging extra for it. So I ended up getting a caramel brown frame, and then this is like a little over 8 inches square. And so I ended up getting a 9-inch square mat cut for a 12 by 12 frame. And it's gonna look really cool when it's done. So as soon as that Etsy order comes in, I will go ahead and finish this. I stitched this on a fabric that I purchased this summer at StitchCon. It is by Fiber on a Whim, and it is called Moonstone. And this is a 40 count over 2, so 20 stitches per inch. 2 threads, and I think that really helped, especially with the white of the eggs and the coffee pot. Just kind of helped them really pop out from the fabric. So I'm very, very happy that I was finished with this, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So let me talk a little bit about things that I am ready to finish. In fact, I think I want to have a little bit of a finishing frenzy this weekend. Now, this is an older pattern that I started a couple years ago. This is actually one of the older Jingle Ball patterns. This is also by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery. And it's actually a set of 3 different designs that I stitched on the same fabric. And I finished them. I got a little crease when I was bringing stuff in. But these are little Jingle Bell foxes. This guy is Cooper, and the name of this pattern is Cooper's Christmas Wish. And then these were 2 that were released the year prior to Cooper. So Jingle Bell, like 2022. This is Clementine in the middle. She's got Clementine orange slices. And then this is Coulter, like a Coulter pine right here. And these 2 foxes are in a relationship with each other. And then Cooper is their nephew. And so I just think these are really cute. I'm really happy that I got them done. I will be honest, the reason that I was so procrastinating on these pieces is because I was really impressed with how they were finished by the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, like in the model that came with the pattern. Oh, by the way, this fabric is the called for fabric, and these are all the called for DMCs. This is a 28 count piece dyed by Picture This Plus in the color Alchemy, and it's this beautiful blue. And so these oval finishes that they have, you know, these ones have like a little ribbon hanging from the bottom and like a pearl trim, and then a little jingle ball kind of right at the very bottom. And then Cooper, which is a new pattern. So this wasn't a Jingle Bell exclusive last year, and I finished it. And I just found out yesterday that this is going to be released as part of a Black Friday sale this weekend. Oh my gosh, the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is having an amazing Black Friday sale. They have put together a lot of really fun, like epic bundles. So if you are new to the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, I think that this would be a really cool opportunity to get some great deals on some patterns. And this is one that will be released wide here. And so their model that they have has like a braided loop finish. So anyway, there's just a lot going on. There's just like some finishing techniques I'm not familiar with, and also ovals. And I didn't know how to cut the ovals for the mats. And Amanda from, I'm sorry, no, not Amanda, Ashley finished these from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and she used a Cricut to cut some ovals out of mat board. I don't have a Cricut anymore. I got rid of it because I wasn't using it. And so I was like looking online for oval templates, and then I remembered you can just draw ovals in like most like Microsoft like Word, and you know, probably Google Docs, you can do it too. And so I did that. What I did was I measured the height and the width of the ovals that I needed, and Clementine and Coulter have the same dimensions, but Cooper is about a 1/2 inch bigger. And then I went ahead and I went into Microsoft Word and I made ovals that were the right size. And then I printed them out, and now I can use these as a template to cut my mat board. I'll show you. So this is my Cooper oval. So it's a little taller, skinnier. By the way, I was out of printer ink, which is why these printed weird. This one printed even worse, but they'll work, right? And this is my Clementine oval. So now that I have these, I can go ahead and finish them, and I have all the finishing stuff. I went to Joann Fabrics yesterday, and so I already had the beaded trim. So this is actually like a half bead. Can you see it? So this is nice. It'll go right flush to the edges of the piece. And then I'll see if I can throw a picture up there so that you can see what I'm talking about. I got some jingle bells. I have way more than I'm gonna need, but that's okay. And then I got 3 different color ribbons. So for Coulter and Clementine, the 2 adult foxes, I'm gonna stack this burgundy and this pink together. And then for Cooper, I'm gonna use the same pink, but I got a green that kind of reminds me of the Christmas cracker. And I'm just gonna finish all 3 the same way with the pearl edging around the whole oval, a little hanging loop on the top, and then some ribbon, like a little bow on the bottom with a jingle bell hanging from it. I think it's gonna be really cute. And I'm excited to start now that I have solved my oval problem that just was perplexing me so much. So it feels really good to get like something finished that had been kind of a long time coming. So while I'm going to be in the finishing mood, I also have a couple other things that I need to finish, and these are some designs that were by Stitching by the Housewives, and I received them in the Chantel's 141 Pep Rally retreat this year, and this is one of them. I didn't get all 3 of them out, but I stitched them too big, and I don't like how the patterns are wrapping against the edges. So eventually you make this circle, and then you make a slightly bigger circle, and then you can attach it to this pre-finished board. There's like some other embellishments. And then I bought some really pretty felt, like, you know, doodads to finish these. I've been procrastinating because I need to cut the mat. But since I'm gonna cut a bunch of ovals, I can cut a bunch of new circles, and I can do refinishing on these. And so that's exciting. I'm gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 new finishes, hopefully to show you next time. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll get out all of my like other holiday things, and then you can see, you know, other holiday stuff I've stitched. So that is exciting. I think that it's really good to finish a project and just get it fully finished. I really find that very satisfying. And it's especially satisfying when it's something that you've spent multiple years on, because I started those foxes in 2022, and then I put them away, and then I got them out following Christmas, and I put them away, and then I ended up spinning my whip wheel on my Tiny Decisions app, kind of just eliminating all the non-Christmas things. So just for Christmas projects that I showed you last time, and that was what won. So, and I actually just spun my whip wheel for another Christmas themed whip yesterday, and I'll show you that in a little bit. Yesterday I went through and I spent probably an hour and a half kind of just clearing off my craft table and doing a lot of little mini organizing things, and I filmed it all. I thought it would be kind of fun to experiment with vlogging. Rebecca from Beck Stitches Everything just did a vlog, and I just really enjoyed watching it. It was something that I've always kind of wanted to try doing, and so I experimented a little bit, and so I'm gonna put that in this video in a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about stitch-alongs. I am participating in 2 stitch-alongs, and I will show you the progress I've made in both. The first one is the 324 stitch-along, and the hashtag is 324SAL. And I've hit another cool milestone. Here we go. Yesterday, I reached the other corner. So now I have the width of the piece, and I know I have enough fabric because I cut it and then I was like, oh no, I've made a mistake. But no, I have plenty of fabric now, so that makes me really happy. This also is where I transfer out of the blue floss box that I have, and now I'm into the greens. So I have a DMC set that is all of the regular DMC colors, and I have them organized by their color card. So they're not in numeric order, which I know drives a lot of people crazy, but it means that I can have boxes that have different colors in it, which I think is really useful. So this is the box I'm gonna be working on probably for the next couple months. I went through the reds, and I went through, you know, the blues and the purples were kind of mixed in with the reds there, and then we'll get into yellow, orange, you know, all the way to this corner. So I am really having a lot of fun with this. This is a piece that I work on every day, and I'm gonna do the math pretty soon now that I'm almost exactly halfway done. And I'm gonna figure out how many days are left until March 24th of next year. And then I'm gonna try to time this so I finish it on 3/24. And so that'll be a lot of fun. The other stitch along I've been working on is the Arctic Animals stitch along. Now this is something that started earlier this year and will finish in February, and then they'll start like a 2025 stitch along. And it's really fun because we're starting to fill in like some of the details that are making it look more like a completed piece instead of just like, you know, little random things. And so I really enjoyed this last clue in particular. And here it is. So the most recent clue was the top right here. I'll see if I can show you. So we stitched an aurora, and then also we used like a rainbow gallery sparkly thread to put some constellations in. A lot of fun little back stitches there. And then we started this little wavy border, and it's an ombre border. So it's like dark in the corners and then blue, and then it gets this kind of icy minty color and then dark again. And this part of the pattern is blurred out, but I'm wondering if this is a border that's going to continue all the way around. So this is really fun. We started here, and then we moved up here, and then here, and then here, and then here, and here. So it's starting to fill in and become like a rectangle piece, and that I think is really fun. This is a kit that I purchased from the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery, and so the fabric and the DMCs are all called for. The fabric is a 28 count Picture This Plus in Nocturne. And then this is all DMC except for the one treasure braid for the sparkly stars on the top. So the next clue is going to be released in mid-December, and then I think there's one in January and one in February, and then it's going to be done. And I'm so happy that I've stayed caught up. And so yay, it's really kind of a fun one to return to. And I think it's fun that we're gonna finish it during the coldest part of year because it's an Arctic themed thing. I gotta be honest, this was harder to stitch in the summertime because I wasn't feeling like the seasonal, you know, like, I guess I need my seasons to match my stitching. And so this is really, really fun for me. And I've just had a lot of joy in participating in both of these stitch alongs. So let me just set these aside. I've once again set up some pretty precarious piles on the ottoman and the chair in front of me, and they can be knocked down at any minute by either cat or poor piling, I guess. So let me check my notes. So we talked a little bit about picking up pieces at the beginning, and this is where I have to talk to you about the projects that I need to pick up the pieces and then kind of dust myself off and get started in again. So, and the first one I've already started and gotten in, and then there's just some like kind of finishing work I need to kind of just feel like I'm back on track. And this is the other Jingle Ball class that I signed up for. And it is called Festive Forest, and it is by the Blue Flower. And this is not something that I anticipate I will finish before, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. And let me show you my progress. So I started on one side of the piece, and then I'm moving forward to the other side. This is a series of 6 shapes that are like this, and then the finished piece will be sewed like so. This end will be sewed to the other end, and then all of these points will be sewed to make kind of like a greenhouse theme, like a 3-dimensional greenhouse shaped piece. I'm really excited with how it's looking, but I made a big mistake and I had to pick up the pieces, and I'll show you what I did. I've actually made some progress on this, but last time I showed this to you, I showed you this awesome 17-inch by 17-inch fabric that I got. This is the called for fabric, which is 32 count cypress, fiber on a whim cypress. And I was like, this piece is great. I can make 2 pieces on this. And then I started stitching it, and then I started counting, and then I realized, boy, I need at least 19 inches of stitching space, and this is only 17 inches wide. And so I felt really bad. So this piece that I am restitching is still that called for fabric, but I could not get 32 count. So I ended up getting 36 count. So it's slightly smaller, fiber on a whim cypress. I got a big piece though. I ended up having to get this on Etsy. I think this is an 18 by 26 inch piece, but you can see it is quite long. And also this is just half of it. So I've got a whole other half of fabric, you know, that is long and skinny too. There's another piece that is very similar construction, and it is called Bees in the Greenhouse. And my intention is when I finish this one, I'm gonna go ahead and make the other one too, with the other half of the fabric. And so the flosses that I'm using for this piece, the other pattern just uses DMC, and so that's easy. But this was quite an undertaking to get this. I wasn't able to get the kit that was provided during the Jingle Ball. And so I had to kit this up myself, and I wanted to use a lot of the called for flosses, but they're all like, some of the flosses are from Canada, some of them are from Australia, and it was just a lot to get. So this is my floss ring. It is a mix of DMCs. I have a couple Weeks Dye Works. And then these are Roxy flosses. And I'm very excited because I've always wanted to stitch with Roxy Floss Company, but I've never had the opportunity to do that. The other floss that I ended up not getting are Cottage Garden threads, just because I didn't think I'd be able to get them shipped from Australia. I checked American suppliers throughout, and I just couldn't find the right colors. And so I ended up getting the DMC equivalents for those 3 colors. And then my friend Susan ended up sending me little snips from her kit. So I have both. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of like strategically using the ones that Susan gave me in places where I can use them. And then I'm using some of these other ones. Like this is the DMC equivalent of this one. And you can see they are quite different. You know, this is a lot more vivid. Which is great because this is used in some of these flowers, and I think it looks nice. So like that's that pink right there. I think a little bolder looks good. So cool. So I had to pick up the pieces. Now, because this floss was hard to get compared to just like the DMC I normally use, part of the picking up pieces component of this project is I'm gonna have to unpick these stitches, and I've already started. I actually had some green flower stems here. So I just have 2 colors here. I've got a start on this Weeks Dye Works floss, and then this is just one strand of the Roxy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to carefully unpick these stitches, and then I'm going to try to use this floss in the other piece. And then I will have a blank piece of fabric again, because that was the thing that was really bothering me, was going to have like a mistake pattern that I wasn't going to finish on a piece of fabric and to waste the fabric. And so that is something that I can live with. Once this fabric is blank again, I actually already have a project for it. And this is one that I showed you before, but I just finished that Artsy Housewife coffee and eggs. And then I ended up picking up another one. And this is a study in pink. And here are the flosses, a lot of classic color works, 1 DMC, and some Weeks Dye Works again. And I think, let me get my cutting board here so that I can kind of flatten this fabric that I did not iron today. I think these colors are gonna look nice on this fabric. Let me spread them out. This is where I need like a clip, but it's kind of hard to tell because my arm is unfortunately making a shadow, but I think that this is gonna be nice. This is kind of a green in real life, but it's very neutral. And I think that this will be how I save both of these projects. So this week I will get this stitching done, and then I'll have this ready to go for when I'm ready to start a study in pink. The other piece that I need to kind of pick up the pieces on is the unicorn stripes scarf I've been knitting. And this is a project that I have been taking with me in the car. And let me show you where I am right now. So this is a scarf, and it is made up of a bunch of little stripes. The yarn are all these little yarn skeins by Madeline Tosh, and they're called unicorn tails because they're just like little 10-gram things of yarn. And so I started and I followed the directions for the first stripe. This is also knit as a tube, so that you can seam it at the end and put it together. But the original instructions for this first stripe were to do this edging and then to knit 12 more rounds before you switch to the next color. And so I did that, and then I knit 12 rounds of this color, 12 rounds of this color, this color, this color, this color. And then I reread my instructions and I realized that I was supposed to do 16 rounds to use up the whole skein because I had little leftover balls of yarn. And so I did some thinking. So it's a scarf. There are 30 colors, so 30 stripes. 30 times 4 is 120 rows. So that actually is like, I haven't even gotten it. That would be like this much length on the sweater, like probably 18 inches on the scarf, not the sweater. That's too much loss of length for a scarf. And so I am going to do a very daring thing to pick up the pieces on this project. I am going to start over on it. I thought a little bit. I actually did a little survey, like informally on my Instagram, and a lot of people were like, well, just start doing the 16 round stripes, like with the color I'm currently working on. I thought about it, but I'm really unhappy that I made the mistake. I think I would always remember that the stripes on this side were shorter. I could do the same short stripes on the other side of the scarf, but then I started thinking, well, why don't I just start the scarf over from the other side? Because, it doesn't matter which direction the chevrons are working on. I can do the color order in reverse and then just start over. And then by the time I get to the other end of the scarf, which is this part right here, I will be feeling a lot better about the project, and so I won't mind ripping the yarn out. And so that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start over. And because this makes excellent television, I'm gonna go ahead and commit to starting over right now because I'm gonna need this needle for starting the other side. So let me do it. Are you ready? Are you ready? So what I'm doing is I'm taking the needle out of the work. I'm going to set this work aside, and then I'm going to use the yarn from the other end, and I'm just going to start this over from the other side. It would be such a hassle to pick these stitches up now. So put this away, out of sight, clean needle, figure out what the other color is. Here are the rest of the colors for the project. I did save all the little leftover yarn balls, and so I can do some grafting to make sure that I have enough yarn for these stripes when I restitch them, and I'll see them on the flip side. But I will be more careful about reading instructions. In fact, I think that I need to implement a read all of the instructions thoroughly before starting process, because for some reason I haven't been doing that, and then I have been like making a lot of knitting mistakes. So those two behaviors must be connected, huh? So let's pick up these pieces and let's get back to it. I think that, these were just like both this and the stitching the other piece on the too small piece of fabric were like very, very upsetting for me. Like within the last couple days, I just was like, I can't get anything right. And now I'm feeling a lot better about it. I gave myself some space to kind of process my feelings and make a plan. And now that I have plans for how I'm going to fix it, and I have the patience to fix my mistakes and redo things, I think I'm going to be really a lot happier with the projects once they're finished. So patience, pick up those pieces. Hey, I've changed my outfit. The angles have changed a bit, and that is because I am filming on the following day. So I was really enjoying floss tubing yesterday, but I had an appointment that I had to do, and then I just never got back to it. My husband came home for lunch, and I did actually film, and the lighting was bad because the sun rudely decided to come out and cause everything to look like it was on fire. And so here I am, hopefully having better lighting and remembering what I wanted to talk about. So first off, I did want to include in this video a little bit of a vlog that I made on Monday. Now, part of picking up the pieces involves like regrouping, right? And so I had a very, very messy art table, and I spent about an hour and a half just kind of reorganizing it, and I want to take you along for that. Now, you don't have to stick around for a whole hour and a half. This segment is only about 15 minutes, and you're going to just see what I'm doing, and I'll talk a little bit about some upcoming projects I'm excited about. But if it's not your jam, feel free to just skip ahead 15 minutes, and then we will wrap this video up. So we'll see you then. Hey, welcome to my family room and my messy, messy art table. I filmed this yesterday, and let's just talk through. So first off, I got a cool new ironing board cover. This is a Ruby Star Society Kimberly Kite strawberry cover. Look how cute it is. Look, it came in a bag. I can totally use this as a project bag. It's probably a better bag for knitting stuff. So yay, it's also a little wrinkly. So I'm gonna iron it. So the next thing I did was I pulled my 324 stitch along out because I had the new clue to start, and I thought I would just take a little footage of me actually stitching it. First off, find the color, and then get everything out. I am narrating this, by the way, in real time. Oh, Audrey alert. That stinker. I forgot she was on the table. Look at that tail. So anyway, I did not prepare a script for this, so this is going to be very stream of consciousness, voiceover. Anyway, I am stitching this in hand, and the reason I am stitching it in hand is because I am moving back and forth across this piece in stripes, and I just didn't want to deal with hoop bumps and moving the hoop every other day. And so it's been challenging. I think holding the fabric, especially in this tight corner, is challenging. It's hard for me to see the holes, especially today. It was very gloomy yesterday, and so I had poor light. That doesn't really show in the video. But I did it. I think I had stopped there because I had a cat hassling me. Story of my life. And that's all sorted for today, so there you go. I would say it probably takes me about 20 minutes to do a motif, depending on the size of the motif. That one was a little chunkier one. Top corner. And there's a little more of it. So I'm going to put it away. I store it on the shelf that is next to the table, so... Oh, but before I do that, let me mark it off in markup RXP. Very satisfying. I have this zoomed way in, so I didn't show too much of the pattern, but it made it way easier for me to kind of sketch it right in right there. Hey, I got some happy mail. The Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery had their annual needle minder event, and I thought before I put these away, I would show you what I got. So I got Douglas the Fir, which I can't believe I didn't have already. It's so cute. And then I got a replacement gingerbread man. His name is Oh Ginger Snap. I wrecked the magnet on mine. And then this is a new one. It's a little penguin. And it came with a bookmark too. So I got the penguin because there is a brand new Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery pattern that was released during the event, and then they're going to have it as part of their Black Friday sale. I'll try to put a picture of it in here, but it's called Winter Waddleland, and it's a bunch of penguins ice skating. And I've kitted it up. I have some purple fabric that was dyed by Jody of Steel City Stitchers, and then all of the DMC flosses. Isn't that gonna look nice? And I got a cute needle minder that matches. I have to catch up on putting some fabric away. These are some offcuts. I have one offcut from 324 and then the other from another project. And then I got some Fabric of the Month Club fabrics. And they've all been sitting here because I ran out of comic book boards. So first off, I already had a board for this one and I sped this up. I'm noting it's a remnant because I have cut some of the fabric off, and I also wrote the name of the project on the board so that I remember, hey Audrey. And what I do is I just kind of fold it and I wrap it around the board, and then I use a straight pin that is stainless steel so it doesn't rust, and I put it in there. Now I have my very last comic book board and I'm going to write it down. So this is an offcut from project I'm working on called 1844 Lady Man. This is Fiber on a Whim 28 count in Milk and Honey. And so I write all the details down. I also wrote the name of the project. And then I bought some more comic book boards, and that was also on my table. And now I can write some boards for my Fiberlicious Club. And I usually write the name of the fabric dyer first, and then the fabric count and the size of the fabric. And then if it has a name, I will do the name last. For these Fiberlicious ones, sometimes I have to refold them so that they are hot dog style, not hamburger style. So fold the long edges together, and then they are the right height for wrapping around the board. And then it is just a matter of wrapping the board and securing it with the pin again. So watch me do it twice. I'm using the Tiny Decision app on my iPad, and I have adjusted my whip wheel to only feature Christmas whips, things that I started before this Christmas season. And I'm gonna go ahead and spin it and pick another one because I was so happy I finished the foxes. And it looks like it's Gingerbread Lane. So let me grab it. I have fixed my wheel so it's ready for next time. And then I gotta sort through this pile of random that I have here, and there it is. Let me show you. I'm about halfway done from a stitch count standpoint. There are 3 houses on the top, and then there is a little scene with gingerbread men and people ice skating, and I'm ready to go. What's this project bag? Oh, this is Winter Folk. I haven't started it yet. I will get it off my table, and I will start it soon. I'm putting together quite the pile here, huh? I bought a new pattern. This is a Satsuma Street pattern. It's called Cosmic. Cosmic something. Cosmic Christmas. Jeez Louise. I ended up taking advantage of Joann Fabrics' 50-cent floss sale, and I pulled this beautiful 28 count Fiberlicious fabric, and I think it looks great. Except I messed up and I bought the wrong blues. And so I cut all this out, but I went into my floss bin and I got the right blue. And then I'm gonna have to go to Joann Fabrics and buy one of the other blues that I did not have. So now I am shoving that out of the way, and I got a piece of paper and I'm gonna make a Joann Fabrics shopping list. I also, while I was there, bought some floss for another project because I was so excited about the sale. And this project is called Snow Gnomes Snow Combs, and it's very small. And so instead of getting a whole new piece of fabric, I have my little remnant bin. This is only maybe like a 3x5 cross stitch piece. So I have this piece of fabric that I think will be plenty big enough. Just gotta make sure I center start that. And I think that looks nice. So hooray! I'm just gonna kit up all the Christmas things because I guess 4 whips wasn't enough for me. But I really should finish this snow cone one because look, I've had these Bentley felt gnomes and mushrooms that I bought specifically to coordinate with this pattern for a cool finish. And so this is such a quick one, and I think that I can get it done really quickly. Maybe right after Winter Waddleland. So I will pack my new projects in these project bags. This Pyrex project bag was made by my friend Kim. Look how she matched that zipper. Oh yeah, and there's a metallic color on this particular pattern. I have some DMC Diamond that I'm going to use as a substitution for the, like that, what's that sparkle floss called? I forget. Etoile. Yeah, I don't want to use etoile on that project. Hey, here are those foxes I talked about and the trim. But yesterday, back in time, I didn't have the ribbon or the jingle bells yet, so let's add them to my shopping list. I usually just put these lists right on my phone, but I was using my phone to film. Also, I have that Stitching with the Housewives pattern. There's another one that I haven't finished, but one thing is we made covered buttons during that retreat, and I didn't finish my covered buttons, and so I need to maybe buy some button embellishments. I didn't find any I liked though, so anyway. Hey, I have to actually fit all of this fabric in these boxes, and these boxes are like George's wallet on Seinfeld, where if I put like one too many things in, then the whole thing's gonna explode. So I'm being very careful. I like to sort my fabric out by color because I'm a big rainbow nerd. I sometimes think about sorting it out by fabric count, but that's fine. I don't care. So I'm going to put it in. It is pretty satisfying. These Rubbermaid gasket boxes are excellent. They stack really nicely. I store these boxes in my basement. And they are like watertight and like bug proof, and so that's good because I've never had like carpet moths or, you know, anything like carpet beetles or moths or anything, but I don't want it to happen, and so this gives me some like security. Oh, that one's really tight, and I still have all of these neutrals to put away. What am I gonna do? Gotta get the muscle out, I guess. Stuff. Getting kind of dangerously full, Sally. This brown fabric was something that was given to me by a relative who got out of crafting. I think that I'm going to find a new home for it because I just really don't think I'll ever need a whole yard of brown. And that's greatly relieved this, but I think I need to use my fabric faster. Maybe more wastefully? No, I'm kidding. That would not be what I would want to do. And so this realistically was an hour and a half of work, but I condensed it down to 14 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. One last look at my cute new ironing board cover. And I do eventually iron that for real, but right then I was pretending. And my table, it's all cleared off. So anyway, back to the rest of the video. So the very first thing I did was I took that unicorn stripe scarf that I just pulled out of my needles, and I put it in my new Ruby Star Society knitting bag, project bag. It fits perfectly, and this actually is gonna give a lot more room for growth. So win for me. So I also wanted to update you on a project that is going well for me, and that is my heirloom quilt cardigan. I have it right here, and let me try to show you and kind of explain what I'm doing. So as I mentioned before, we are now putting the sleeves on this cardigan, but I was concerned about there not being enough room to lift my arms up. And so I was gonna experiment with adding armhole gussets, which are little diamond shaped pieces of extra fabric that give your arms a little more freedom of movement. And I have added them in, but I'm not finished. So let me show you where we are right now. So we've got, this is the front of the sweater. I gotta lean back a little bit. And I've got some sleeves started on this side, and I actually have sleeves started on this side too. And the reason I did that is because I knew I did not have enough of this blue yarn to finish the sleeves entirely. And so I got a food scale out and I started weighing my yarn. And so I had a starting weight, and then when I got like just a little more than halfway through what I had, I ended up switching to the other arm. And what I'm doing to finish the sleeve is I'm going to start using like this orange color that's in this sweater too. And so you can kind of see that here I'm starting to alternate, and now I'm going to continue with orange for the rest of the sleeve. So that's kind of fun. Playing with color is a lot of fun with this process. I want to show you the armhole gusset, just like it is not complete, but I kind of want to talk about how I did this, because rather than knitting a straight diamond, I did something like that I kind of made up. And here it is. So this is the side of the sweater. So this is the side seam. So what I did was I pulled this seam out a bit, and now I have this little triangle shaped hole, you know, because the sleeve is like right here. And so I knitted a triangle shaped patch right here. And so I knitted this, and then when I got it wide and long enough, I ended up attaching it to the armhole by just picking up stitches along all the armhole and then starting the sleeve. So this is the sleeve, and then this little flap here is the underarm. So I still have to sew this in. I will sew these seams together so that it's a continuous thing. But once this armhole gusset is in, I'm going to have a lot more movement. Let me fiddle with it a little bit so I can kind of give you an idea of what it'll look like. Got lots of loose little yarn tailies here. So if this was folded in half, you can see there's this extra little material underneath that creates kind of this little triangle. And that's gonna let me do the full YMCA when I'm wearing this sweater without it riding up on the side. So to make the rest of the diamond, what I did was I just did a series of decreases on each side of this triangle as I knitted around and around. And so I've got my little armhole diamond. So when it's totally finished, I'll go into more details because it's hard to explain things that you kind of make up. So, but I'm really enjoying this. And right now it's just kind of like a sprint, you know, I got to finish those sleeves. I'm going for like a balloon sleeve. So what'll happen is we'll just knit them straight, and then we'll gather them down right kind of at the end, and then we'll add a cuff to it. And I think that I'll probably do the cuff in the same color as this trim, which is kind of like a birthday confetti cake white. And then I'm gonna have a really rockin' sweater to wear. And so that's really exciting for me. I haven't done any sewing, but I have really enjoyed something that I wanted to share with you, and that is a new subscription box I signed up for. Now, I don't have a lot of craft subscriptions right now. I have a Pip Sticks sticker subscription, and I have a Fiberlicious Yummy Fibers cross-stitch fabric of the month. And that's all I have going on, except I couldn't resist this new subscription from one of my very favorite quilting fabric designers, Allison Glass. Now, Allison Glass designs a lot of really like tonal rainbow fabrics. And so like she'll have a product line come out and it'll be like a full spectrum of colors and a lot of really cool little nature motifs. I really like everything she's done, and most of the quilts I've made, I've used her fabrics. I've got a lot of rainbow stuff around because I like rainbows. And she recently announced that she was going to do for this year a studio subscription box. And how that works is she's in the process of kind of cleaning out her studio. She moved to a different state a little while back, and she has a lot of stuff like going from like the beginning of when she established her design line. And so the subscription box is a monthly fee. There's a couple different tiers, and then we get boxes quarterly. And the quarterly boxes include some fabric cuts and then some other like paraphernalia that's like Alice in Glass themed. And I thought I would show you the first box I got. So this is the box. I opened it already. So it's got cute little houses on the front. And then this is box number 1. And inside it, very first thing I noticed is there's a lot of really cool stationery. And I love stationery, and so I was happy to get this. I have some Christmas cards that are, actually these would probably be okay for fall. Dear. Let's see, I showed you guys this yesterday, and so it got all out of order. And now I'm trying to put it in order. Some birthday stationery. So stationery, here's an iron-on patch. It's like a snail. Lots and lots of stickers, which is cool because I have that sticker collection. Here is a quilt pattern. This is for a quilt block. This would be fun to make a set of coasters out of these. This is called a pineapple, and this is a collaboration she does with Juicy Juice, and they do like a little sew along, which is fun. The other thing that I was really excited to get, let's see if I can get these out, are this right here. This is an ornament, cool charm. So I'm gonna probably get some pretty thread and maybe some beads and put that out on my Christmas tree when I get my Christmas tree up, which is fun. And then let me just set this stuff aside so it's not willy-nilly everywhere. The other thing is there were a bunch of enamel pins in here, and I like enamel pins. It's like my go-to accessory. So we've got these two right here. There's another little rainbow flower, and then a Christmas tree. And then these ones I think are project specific, studio project specific, and I got 2 of them. And I think the reason I got 2 is one is the one that came in the regular box, and then the other one was an early bird like bonus because I was one of the first people that signed up because I was so excited. But they're cute. They're like the little houses on the front of the box. And you know what these remind me of? I follow a YouTuber named Cecilia Blomdahl. She lives in an archipelago in Norway called Svalbard. And Svalbard is a very remote community. I think they do mining. I don't know. They have like a company town there. And some of the company housing is like all these little like rainbow colored houses that are like this shape. I'll see if I can maybe stick a photograph of that because I was looking at it on Wikipedia. I just think they're so cute, and they're definitely something I will wear. But the main event of the subscription box is the fabric. And so what this is going to have is at the end of the year, I'm going to have a little 2.5-inch charm square of every single fabric that Alice in Glass has ever released. And they are not being released in any special order. So I've got like a mix of old and new, but this is what came in the box. And I can't even fit them all in my hand. Oh, and they're slippery. Here's a good stack. But I have all these little packets of charm, like mini charm squares, and they're labeled. And so this one is from her line of patchwork. These were some batiks she did a while ago. Here is wildflowers, and I made the quilt that's on my bed out of this, so that's fun. Here is sunprint light, so a bunch of like pastel prints and so on. So there are like 16 little packets here, and then we'll have like 4 more boxes. So at the end of the year, I don't know, I might have like 500. I bet you I'll have at least 500 little charm squares that represent everything Alice in Glass has ever released. As a collector, that's really fun for me. It's like collecting Pokemon, but like fabric. I'm actually kind of brainstorming. When I have everything, right now I'm just gonna kind of collect them, but when I have everything, I might try to plan a project around like kind of including a little snip of everything, like maybe a big quilt. that's exciting. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyway, I have not done a lot of quilting lately just because I've been so busy and my art table has been so full. But I just, I still like am drawn to it, and I'm hoping that I'm going to get into some sewing projects very, very soon. So let's wrap this up. We have talked a lot today about kind of like patience, having patience as we wait for things to unfold, whether they're exciting and delightful or things that are worrying to you. And then we've also talked about picking up pieces when we make mistakes and we want to continue with those 2 projects that I showed you earlier that I had made mistakes on. I actually, since I filmed yesterday, I have almost completely picked out all of those stitches for that Festive florist thing. And so I almost have another clean piece of fabric. So that's exciting for me. I'm happy that I did that. I just have the little like outside border to go. So when I sew, and what I did was I unpicked like a strand of floss and then I added it to my good piece, you know, as I was going, so that I didn't waste that thread, because I really was worried about running out of floss for that. So I think that I am in kind of a season right now as we get into kind of cozy stuff where I am really interested in self-care. There's so many things that I just cannot control that happen. You know, my son has a seizure disorder. I can't predict or control if he'll ever have a seizure. The only thing I can do is make sure he takes his medicine and that he's taken care of and supervised. You know, there are so many things that just kind of are like noise around you that can seriously damage your ability to get anything done. And so I've been kind of approaching, you know, this feeling of kind of eliminating noise and taking care of myself in 2 ways. And these are some big concepts that I, you know, probably explained better when I filmed yesterday, but I'm going to try to re-explain them again. So first off, I really like this idea that this is not my idea, but I don't know who to credit this to. This idea of circles of influence. And so imagine, if you will, like a bullseye, and you are at the center of the bullseye, and then we have circles that are radiating out. It's like a bullseye or like ripples on a pond. So you're in the center, you're the target of the bullseye, and then maybe the next ring is your very close family. So in my case, my husband and my 2 children are in my next little circle. And then my next circle after that includes other close family members and friends. So my best friend, my mom, my stepdad, my sister, all these people that I love very much, you know. And then the next circle will include other friends. And then maybe the next circle will include acquaintances. And then the next circle will include, you know, my community. And then I guess if you wanted to go all the way out, you could go into, you know, your city, your state, your nation, your world. You know, I don't ever think I would have a circle of influence big enough to touch the world, you know, but what I can do is I can start in the center and I can push my way out. And that's what I am trying to do. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to take care of myself. I've been setting kind of fun challenges for myself in my craft. Like for that Festive Forest, I'm trying to do like 400 stitches a day. And that's been pretty fun. Sometimes I hit it, sometimes I fall a little short. I also really like to set like housekeeping goals for myself. I think that it makes it less feeling like it's like a slog, and more fun for me, kind of like a video game. And also that is my way that I take care of my family. I get a lot of this, like the motor of the home running, and, you know, have it running smoothly so that my family has an easier time and they have time to enjoy, you know, when they get home from school or work. You know, we have dinner figured out, although not this week. This week is crazy with Thanksgiving. So, but we'll get there. And then, you know, so what I've been doing for that is I have a daily list I use in my notes app on my phone. And here's yesterday's that I can scroll through. But I've called it room by room reset. And I don't remember if I've talked about this before, but what I've done is I've listed every single room in our home, including our garage. And then every morning I come up with something that I could do in every room. And they don't have to be big things. Sometimes they are. Like, I honestly think cleaning the bathroom is quite the big job sometimes, but making my bed is not. Making my bed takes like a couple minutes. And it just is so nice to have like crisp sheets in the night when you crawl into bed later. All of these things take care of myself, and they take care of my home, and they take care of my family. And they also provide like a little mini goal. So for any time I've got like a weird, like awkward amount of downtime, I've got something that I can do that is keeping me off of the internet. And I know that's very rich, because here I am on the internet talking to you and telling you to get off of YouTube. But I have found that if I spend too much time watching the news or interacting on like Reddit or other social media stuff, I start getting into like a catastrophic mode of thinking. Like, I start having catastrophic thoughts, like thoughts that are like the worst case scenario. Like, oh no, what if the Department of Education doesn't exist this time next year? What will we do? Like that kind of stuff. These are things that are beyond my control. And so they're things I need to be kind of aware of, but I can't like do anything to change it. And so what I need to do is I need to just concentrate on the things that I can change, while not totally like living like in denial of the things that could happen. And that is a tough balance. And I think that what is helping me find that balance is just kind of limiting my exposure. And so instead of watching like a 24-hour news network and kind of tuning in when I've got a couple minutes, I am focusing on a nightly news like video. Like PBS NewsHour puts their NewsHour out like around 10 every night. And that's nice because it's like a little snapshot of what happened. So it's like I'm aware of what happened, but I'm not in that constant mode of like, here's an update, here's an update, here's an update, here's an update, because it's so noisy and it makes me fret. And I don't want to fret. I want to spend my time fixing my mistakes and picking up my pieces of the projects that I've started and then set aside. And, and I want to get some things done. I want to enjoy my time in my home. And so I think that, we're just in a period of like just trying to find a new balance. And it's been a little bit of a struggle. I think that as the weather changes, it's easier to feel a little down. I think the holidays are tricky. It's just hard to get all the people that you love together. If you can, that might not happen this year. And that's hard, because that's not how I want to celebrate. But, all of these things, what we do is we start in the center of our influence, and then we push roots outwards, and then we can touch the other circles. One thing I am excited about is our community has something called a Citizens Academy. And what this is it's like an education program where once a week we get to like learn about city services. So maybe one week we learn about the police department and what they do. And then the next week we learn about the water department and then the tax assessor, all these like city services that we have. I signed up for it. I will find out in December if I got into the Citizens Academy class, but this is my way that I am kind of pushing out and trying to be more involved in my community, because I feel like I've got myself and my little family and my outside family, kind of set. I'd really like to work on making more friends, and I'd really, really like to work on being more involved in my community, because those are the things I can control. And so it's a little early to start thinking about resolutions, but I guess I'm starting to think about resolutions. So anyway, if you stuck around this far, I really appreciate you. I'm so thankful that you join me for my videos. I am so thankful for your comments and your kind words. And I'm just so thankful that we can all enjoy our hobbies together. I hope that if you are celebrating Thanksgiving tomorrow, you have like all of the food you want to eat and your favorite desserts, and you get a nap when you want to nap, and you get to sit and cross stitch when you want to cross stitch. And that's what I hope for myself too. So, hey, Thanks again for watching. If you would like, follow me on Instagram. And, here's my email address, contact info, drop me a line if you want. And hey, if you want, tell me your favorite Thanksgiving food in the comments below. My favorite is mashed potatoes. Just because I have a very bland palate. So I don't even really like gravy on them. I just like a little mashed potato and then a little bit more and a little bit more. It's my favorite. So take care, friends, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.